So I teach large first year physics courses. This term there was only around about 120 students in the lecture stream, but in many terms there's over 400 students in the lecture stream, so in the lecture theatre at the same time. So I've used active learning ever since I started teaching. So to me, active learning means that the students are actively thinking. So they're answering questions, they're making predictions, they're discussing with the person next to them what's going on.
Having a good learning experience is really being able to feel safe and comfortable to ask questions and put your hand up if you're unsure, or like feeling safe to answer questions when the lecturer does that, and like ask the room a question, ask the lecturer a question, so that it's more of an active environment and people are actively participating as opposed to just sort of sitting there and reading off the board and taking notes or listening to the lecturer, because I think that when you actively participate, it means that you're a lot more engaged. So as opposed to a lecture where I sit up the back and I'm just watching and observing and trying to take in all the information, by feeling as if I can ask questions if I'm slightly unsure, or I'm able to observe and experiment, things like that, means I'm really, really engaged with the content and not just sort of sitting there trying to memorize it. I'm actually like developing an understanding.
Engagement is critical for that sort of learning experience, to actually be able to absorb information and take everything in and understand it all. It has to be delivered to you in a way that not only that you can understand, but that you actually can engage with. So that if you have some way of relating it to your experience or something you've seen or something that you can understand, it gives a deeper meaning to everything that you're seeing, and it lets you make that connection and actually fully understand everything.
Well, I think, as I was saying before, it improves my learning because I remember it more like specifically than I would all these facts just chucked at me. And I think the things I remember the most from this course so far have been an experiment where I can relate back to the physics of it. And Liz is really great in that as she's doing the experiment, she'll talk about how one thing is relating to another rather than just doing the experiment without really talking about it. She'll really say how, this temperature represents this bit in the equation. The interactive part of the course is good for memorization, because if you do practice questions, it's the best way to memorize things, as she always says. So when we're doing questions in class, and when she could say, go home and try this one, and then we'll talk about it in class. So you have the practice of yourself and then the reassurance that, I got this answer correct. And I was able to do it myself, kind of thing. And, she does a lot of questions in class, which helps, every single practice question helps to apply the formulas and the information that we've learned.
Yeah, so I think active learning has multiple benefits. So it's been shown to increase learning gains in students. It also increases engagement. So I think this means that the students are more likely to attend the lectures because they feel that they're getting something out of it. So I'd say definitely do it. I know that some of my colleagues are a little bit worried about covering less content if they use a more active approach. I've found that to cover the same amount of content, what you can do is put some of the derivations and worked examples onto videos which the students can watch after class, and I found the students do watch those after class and they do appreciate being able to watch and re-watch those. So having those in video format has advantages, and it means that you're not covering less content, you're covering the same amount but in a way that students actually learn it and are able to answer questions based on that material.